This video will show you how to do multiple linear regression in R. The data that we're going to enter into R are data from peregrine falcons. We have observations of the wingspan of those falcons, the weight of those falcons, the length of the tail of the falcons, and then the sex, whether or not the falcon is a male or female. So we're going to enter the peregrine falcon data. We have 20 observations, 20 different falcons that we're interested in doing a regression on. And so I've entered all the data as vectors here. So I'll run the code. And then what I want to do is I want to put all of those values for the vectors into an R data frame. So I'm going to call this data frame falcon. That will be the data set that I work with. I'm going to use the data.frame function to combine all of those four values that I just entered. So I'll hit the play button. And so it looks like up here it says I have a falcon data set now. I'm going to click on the spreadsheet tool. And here are my data. I scroll down. It looks like I have my 20 observations. I have the wingspan, weight, tail, and sex of each falcon. So what I want to do is I want to fit a multiple linear regression to predict the wingspan of a falcon using its weight and tail length. And so in this case, I'm going to make a new R object called falcon.mlr for falcon.multiple-linear-regression. And just like we use the LM function in simple linear regression, we're going to use it in multiple linear regression too. And so the LM function, our response variable is always the first thing that we put into the LM function, in this case wingspan. And then a tilde indicating what's coming next are the independent variables or the explanatory variables. And so I'm going to use the weight of the falcon and the tail length of the falcon as my explanatory variables to predict the wingspan of the falcon. And I'm going to do this, the data are stored in the falcon data set. And then I'm going to say, well, give me a summary of falcon.mlr so I can look at the R output. So the only difference here with simple linear regression compared to multiple linear regression is we put a plus between the two different variables that we're interested in. And so if this were a simple linear regression, we'd only be working with one variable. And so to add another variable and to do a multiple linear regression, we simply put a plus sign. And so I can hit the play button to run the code. And let's take a look at the R output provided. So it looks like here it ran my model. I get a snapshot of the residuals. And then I see what I might be interested in are the coefficients. So I know I have an intercept of about 48.5. I have a positive slope for the weight, 0.0357. And I have a positive slope for the tail length, so 0.408. And I can look at some other values like the residual standard error, the R squared values, and the F statistic. And so this is the R output that we can look at when we perform a multiple linear regression. The same process as a simple linear regression with one variable. The only difference with a multiple linear regression is we add the plus sign between different variables that we want to include in our model.